I've donna.
Standing here on the campus quad, surrounded by the hustle and bustle of new beginnings, I can't help but look back at the journey that brought me here. It all came to a head on that fateful day when the police walked into my parents' welcome home party, shattering their perfect facade in front of all their guests. But let me take you back to how it all started. My family lived in a large mansion in the heart of Beverly Hills. My father, Richard Thompson, was a high-powered stockbroker, always busy with deals and making money. My mother, Victoria Thompson, was a socialite with 20,000 followers on Instagram. She loved posting pictures of our supposed perfect life, fancy dinners at Michelin, star restaurants, luxurious vacations in private jets. But if you looked closely, I was hardly ever in those pictures. I was 12 years old, and I'd learned to be independent early on. I made my own breakfast, did my own laundry, and even helped with the bills when my parents were too busy. My parents always treated me like an afterthought. They'd say I was old enough to take care of myself, and I believed them. 2 weeks before they left for a month-long cruise around the Caribbean, my mother called me into the study. She was sitting at her desk, looking at cruise brochures. My father stood by the window, looking bored. "Donna," my mother said in a cold voice, "your father and I need a break. A month on a luxury cruise. You're old enough to stay home alone." I was stunned. "But who will take care of me?" I asked. My mother rolled her eyes. "You'll be fine. I'm leaving you $30 in cash and a credit card for emergencies. Don't use it unless it's absolutely necessary." I looked at my father, hoping for some support, but he just shrugged. The day they left, I watched them drive away in their shiny limousine. They didn't even look back. That first night, the house was eerily quiet. I lay in bed, listening to the silence, and felt a sense of dread wash over me. The next morning, I opened the refrigerator. It was almost empty, just a few cans of soda and a half-eaten pizza from last week. I counted my $30. That had to last me a month. I tried to use the credit card to order groceries online, but the transaction was declined. I called the bank, and they told me the card hadn't been activated. I was on my own. I started rationing food. I bought cheap instant noodles and bread with my first $10. Every day was a struggle. I was hungry all the time, but my parents were living it up on their cruise, posting pictures of themselves on Instagram, sipping cocktails by the pool. One day, my neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, a kind-hearted 75-year-old widower, noticed I was looking pale. He invited me over for dinner. I was so hungry that I didn't even try to refuse. After dinner, I told him what was going on. He was shocked and offered to help, but I was too scared of my parents' threats. I told him I'd be okay. But things got worse. I started fainting at school. My teacher, Ms. Harris, noticed something was wrong. She asked me about my parents, and I lied, saying they were on a business trip. But she didn't believe me. She started keeping an eye on me. One night, my mother called. She was furious. She'd heard from the school that I was having health problems. "Donna, you're being so dramatic. You have money, you have a card. What's your problem?" she shouted. She threatened to send me to a boarding school if I told anyone the truth. That night, I decided I needed evidence. I started recording videos every day. I filmed the empty refrigerator, my shrinking body on the scale, and read my mother's cold emails aloud on camera. I also kept a written journal. As the days went by, I got weaker. Mr. Jenkins couldn't stand it anymore. He called the school anonymously. Ms. Harris knew she had to do something. She filed a report with Child Protective Services. A caseworker named Sarah came to my house. She was warm and kind. She looked around the house, saw the empty refrigerator and the stack of my video recordings.
She believed me.
Sarah subpoenaed my parents' credit card statements. It turned out they'd spent over $60,000 on their cruise, while leaving me with just $30. My parents came back from their cruise, planning a big welcome home party for their friends. They had no idea what was waiting for them. On the day of the party, I watched from Mr. Jenkins' house as guests started arriving at my parents' mansion. The house was decorated with balloons and streamers, but I knew the truth behind the facade. Then I saw the police cars pull up. Sarah and the police officers walked into the party. My parents' faces turned white when they saw them. The guests were shocked as Sarah explained that my parents were being charged with child endangerment. My mother tried to deny everything, saying it was a misunderstanding, that I was an imaginative child who made things up. But then, Sarah played my videos on the TV. The guests watched in horror as they saw my emaciated face, the empty refrigerator, and my mother's threatening emails. My mother's perfect image shattered in front of everyone. She started screaming and crying, but it was too late. The truth was out. After the arrest, my Aunt Lily, who my mother had cut off years ago because she'd criticized my parents' neglectful behavior, showed up. She took me in and filed for temporary guardianship. The legal process was swift. My parents took a plea deal to avoid a trial. They were sentenced to probation, community service, and lost their parental rights permanently. Life with my aunt was a breath of fresh air. She lived in a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood. She asked me what I wanted, listened to my stories, and made me feel loved. I'm 19 now, and I'm starting college on a full scholarship. I've learned that speaking up isn't betrayal. It's the only way to protect yourself. The past doesn't define me. I'm here, healthy and happy, because I found the courage to tell the truth.